When last we left our intrepid adventurers, we had gone through the door from the room where everyone fights each other for no reason. And so we came out in the next room, and everyone just started apologizing to each other, just falling all over each other, trying to apologize. Tim, who's of course dungeon mastering, keeps trying to interrupt us to tell us to roll initiative because we're in the next room and there's stuff, but we're like, no, we gotta apologize. And Cricket's apologizing, and then Aurora's like, I'm so sorry I bit that piece of your ear off. And Cricket's like, no, it's entirely your right. And
except Hank. Hank wasn't apologizing.
Hank was rather peeved that we had left him to die. I suspect he's going to bear a bit of a grudge over that.
Yeah, he kept bringing it up at every opportunity. Well, we'll go into the next room as long as you don't leave me to die in this one.
Unfortunately, there was never an opportunity. It would have been hilarious if we had to do that again. Okay, so finally Tim manages to get our attention that there's, more monsters afoot. And, we finally pry our attention away and find out what room we're in. It's a kitchen.
The first is the featureless, the room with 4 doors.
Oh, I completely forgot about the featureless room. Of course. I would forget about the featureless room.
And the thing he was wanting to roll initiative for was there was a sound of a ringing bell.
Oh, right, yes. That was the roll he kept trying to interrupt us with. Okay, so it wasn't quite that we stepped into the middle of combat and spent 2 rounds just apologizing to each other. No. Yeah, we stepped into this round featureless room that had 4 doors. And there was a bell ringing. Just ting, 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 like that. And also we had to roll perception checks as soon as we came in to figure out which door we had come in through. Because the room is so round and so featureless, apparently you can lose track of which room you came through, which door you came through.
Magic featureless.
Yeah. So I immediately I made the percept check. I think Hank also made it.
I think so.
And so we knew which door we'd come through. So I took out the piece of chalk that I bought at first level.
Yeah, I remember. He's like, I remember that door. That's the door that we came through after you left me to die.
Yes. And I marked the door with the chalk. And then we had to decide which door to go through, and I suggested we take the door to the left. So we went through that door. Now, what was through that one? I remember
it was a treasure room.
Oh right, yes, and it was
full of
so
like
quick. I almost forgot that one.
It was full of the other room was where they dumped their treasure to sort, but this was all the good stuff. Full of gold, full of giant rubies the size of your head. These freakish glittering chaos idols.
Yeah, and we're waste of time.
Mm-hmm. But the door immediately slammed after them and locked.
Yeah.
And then they hear as poison gas starts filling the room.
So we start getting fortitude attacks.
I
think Hank was the only one who was failing them.
Yeah, so far. I actually
leave him in the room.
We didn't leave him in the room to die. Would have been awesome.
I brought out this puzzle. It was this puzzle I'd found on the internet, but it was just this thing where you had these 9 tiles, and there were suns of different colors, and you had to line them up because the suns were cut in half by the tiles. You had to line them up so the suns were all the right color. But I started it, the suns were all correctly aligned because it was nice and peaceful and orderly. Yeah. And the goal was to get them so that none of the suns matched.
Yeah. And he really sold it's such a harmonious and perfect arrangement.
Yeah.
And so I immediately guessed, we're in the Chaos Rift. The proper solution is mess it up as much as possible. And so whoever...
Go ahead. While they were doing it, every 20 seconds I would make them roll an endurance check, and they was going up by 2 every time. And if they failed, they took 5 damage. So there was the clock counting down. The only problem is that I actually made a mistake. They said, are you allowed to rotate the tiles? And I said, yeah. Turns out you weren't supposed to be able to rotate the tiles. That made the puzzle really easy. So they solved it in a minute. It was so easy. I later looked at the tiles and I was like, wait, those aren't all right side up. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
But whatever.
That explains it then.
It would have been.
I thought it was very quick.
It was supposed to be getting scary as this time is ticking on, because I had solved the puzzle myself, made sure that it was possible to set them all out of alignment, and that it was hard, and I had found those both to be true, but because I screwed up the rotation thing, it made it super easy. They easily got out of there. I think Hank took 10 damage total, and no one else took any damage where they got out of that room.
Would have been so awesome if Hank had died of the poison. Gone in the next room.
But
So we go through back into the circular room, and all of the doors are marked with the X. And we have to roll perception to tell which one we came through. And so we make the perception check. So we figure out, okay, we came through that one. That's the one that goes back to, so therefore that's the one that goes back to the room where everyone fights each other for no reason. We marked the door we came through anyway, even though it's probably going to be messed up. And then just to be sure, Hank peed on it.
yeah, because they told him to mark it. So he marked it.
Yeah.
We're mature.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're speculating next time we come into the room, the whole place will be just covered in Hank's pee.
Because last time the mark replicated, so...
Yeah. So,
Everything is sticky.
and there was that bell ringing, I think, again.
The bell was ringing again, and people tried... I was gone for that. People were trying to, like, Hank threw his hammer up at the ceiling, because that was what the
Yeah, we
sound
figured
was.
the sound was coming through the ceiling, and everyone was trying to hammer through the ceiling. And I'm like, just, it's the Chaos Rift. There's going to be bells sometimes. Let's just...
No one could really figure out the bell, so they just threw stuff at the ceiling and then moved on.
Yeah, as is our way. I don't know what's going on here. Throw hammers at the ceiling and go. Move on. Screw you, ceiling. So anyway,
Yeah. So
we go to the next room.
they picked a random door.
No, the left.
Oh yeah.
Always take the left.
That was
We're
when.
working our way around the circle, essentially.
That was when they came into the kitchen.
Yeah. We entered the kitchen, and there was a bunch of gremlins. I don't know if we saw them instantly, or we just saw a few of them, or
There was a
whatever.
couple gremlins you saw right away. There was two counters.
They kept hiding in cupboards.
And with these cupboards.
Yeah.
And in the center of the room was this cauldron that was set into the floor, so it was level with the floor. And around it was all like, there was some kind of horrible smell emanating from it. And around it was all slippery and gross. And standing over it was this frog lady thing who was named Mistress Pots. And which we knew for some reason, and maybe the gremlins called her that. And she was stirring the pot. There was a chafing dish on one of the counters. This pixie pops out of it, and Mistress Pots smacks it back down and says, "No, special spice stays in the chafing dish." And then I think we roll for initiative.
Yeah. I like that Chaos Hell Demons have chafing dishes.
Yeah.
Very sophisticated. So anyway, yeah, I'm like, oh, more gremlins. A do-over on the
Yeah,
key
everyone
thing.
was excited to see gremlins.
Yeah, it's like, yay, gremlins. For some reason, John thinks that we're especially horrific for wanting to use gremlins to like as the key container.
It's not especially because it's gremlins. It's just like, they're like, oh, that evil key that sucks the life force out of a pixie, that's evil. But if we put it on a gremlin, that's fine, because they're bad.
Yeah.
Because sucking the life force out of someone bad is good.
No, that's how Dungeons and Dragons
No,
works.
he's misinterpreting. Killing pixies, bad. Killing gremlins, good. How you killed them, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Is it really any worse than hitting them with a hammer until they're jammed?
Well, if they're engaging in combat with you, but like just going when they're standing there or like defenseless and
it's
grabbing
totally,
a thing and like.
So if you encounter like a camp full of gremlins, it's totally fine to just run in and hit them with a hammer until they're jammed. But it's not okay to put a crown that will instantly and painlessly reduce its life force?
I don't think it's
Really?
painlessly.
Really, you're doing
We've
the
never
world
seen
a
it
favor.
in operation. Perhaps it is painless. Perhaps it is a gentle and serene departure from this tormented realm.
Maybe it's actually the best way.
Which is actually just a dream.
Cricket, at this point, could not care less about pixies or anything, really. But the whole party is like, oh, we have to save the pixie. So Cricket's like, all right, I'll save the pixie.
Save the pixie, save the world.
Yeah, but I
Because
want
Croesus doesn't own Cricket anymore, and now she's in his dream doing his bidding. But the party's doing it, so.
Yeah. Well, she's not really doing Croesus's bidding. She's doing the party's bidding, who are dancing to Croesus's whims. And she's getting real mad at Croesus. It's probably good for Croesus that he's not physically present, though he's going to get quite the talking to afterwards. Anyway, so first thing Cricket does is she grabs another gremlin, sticks it in inventory, and then did I? No, I didn't. It was Serendipity, Van Goldstride, and Malort, Top of our Tower, Shadow Soul, Stride of Time, Doomed Lair, who made the first grab at the pixie. She used Mage Hand, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, she used Mage Hand to grab the chafing dish from across the room.
We had a discussion of how much a chafing dish weighs. I didn't realize she grabbed the chafing dish. I thought she just grabbed the pixie. Oh, no, she did.
Because the pixie was hidden inside the chafing dish. We couldn't actually see the pixie, so we had to grab the chafing dish.
So we had a discussion of how much a chafing dish weighs. We discovered that half the group didn't know what a chafing dish was.
Yeah.
I don't really know what a chafing
I
dish
also do not know what a chafing dish
It's the thing. It's
like at a buffet.
It's at a buffet. The metal thing that holds the food.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
a chafing dish.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes it'll be above little burners.
Yeah.
On
How
like
does
a
it make
separate
things
stand.
shape?
I imagined something very different. I imagined a bowl with like a cheese grater on the inside.
No, it's just a buffet tray.
Oh.
It's a chafing dish, and usually with little burners under it. But that's the chafing dish is the actual metal thing. So yeah, you can imagine a buffet tray with a pixie in it, and
Yeah, so we grabbed that across. Mistress Pots, she started tonguing us right away.
yeah, but
She didn't hit anyone that
she did
first
not
time.
have any success. She was standing by the cauldron, and she has a long tongue, and she shoots it out, rabbit, miss, and then there was some pipes hanging down near her, so she took her wooden spoon and banged on it. More meat, and yeah.
Yeah, it turns out that thing she does with the pipes is summon gremlin, but they only show up next round. You roll a d4, and that's how many gremlins will show up next
Gotcha.
round.
Frank style.
Otherwise, she can do that tongue attack 3 times around.
It's a minor at will.
And if she hits you, she can hit you anywhere in the room with this thing. It's got long enough reach to hit anywhere in the room. And it turns out it's real easy to be pulled into that cauldron in the center because it's embedded in the floor. And the floor is slippery.
So you don't get your save against falling into it.
Yeah. So that was her thing, is she's trying to get everyone in the pot. It turns out she was useless at it, though. The gremlins actually did a fair amount of that because they have a thing that can slide people too. It's much shorter range. I think it was at max 3 squares.
Yeah, they can
or
only
something.
slide you 3, and they can, but they were just distracting and annoying, and they would make you move, and so they started pushing people towards the
Yeah.
pot.
There were also these counters that would make the slides take extra squares and stuff. So the gremlins weren't great at sliding through the pots, but they actually did manage to get Cricket in there.
Was it Cricket that went? Cricket was the one who
Cricket
went in
went
first
in
thing. A gremlin caused her to slide up onto the counter, fall prone, and then slide off the counter into the stew, which does acid and fire damage and is disgusting. Generally.
Yeah.
And as soon as Cricket fell into the pot, all the gremlins started singing, "Into the pot, boil and bubble away, into the pot,
And it was so
boil
catchy.
and bubble away."
It became the anthem of our session.
Well, especially because like Tim and I or whoever kept singing it as they were trying to plan their turns, and they're like coming up with strategy, and we're singing this in the background the whole time, and just to be as annoying as possible.
So Cricket fell in. Now, I didn't Serendipity, Van Goldstride, Moore, Topper Tower, Shadow Soul, Stride of Time, Doomed Lair failed to get the pixie. Oh right, the what's her face grabbed it back.
Oh, right, that's why she
That's
didn't do
right.
much, because for her first tongue attack, she grabbed the pixie back with it.
Yeah.
That succeeded. Her second tongue attack missed.
Right.
And then her third action was to hit the pipes and shout for more meat.
Right. Okay, so that's what happened. So the pixie is actually in Mistress Potts' possession. Cricket is in the pot right next to her. So Cricket shadow steps over to the other side of her, out of the pot, teleport, thieveries the pixie away from Mistress Potts, and then skedaddles back towards the party. So now she's got a gremlin and a pixie.
I think it was right around that time that Serendipity fireballed Mistress Pots.
Fireballs are great solutions to everything.
Especially because there's a lot of, there were several gremlins hiding in the cupboards, and they had superior cover, and they would pop out, be annoying, and then close the cupboard door.
So she was like, why not blow up everything? And I mean,
We learned the answer to that question.
Yeah, there were all these jars of spices.
Of horrible chaos spice.
Chaos spice on the counters. And it turns out exploding those with a fireball produces huge billowing zones of awful. You go in there and you're dazed.
Yeah.
Save ends.
It was like evil Indian restaurant in the whole
And
kitchen.
Cricket was still close enough that this billowing wall... Actually, no, initially not. There was this one cabinet that exploded and filled like half the room. And then as we started progressing with the rest of the round, Shannon is like, oh wait, I could make that fireball bigger. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, so she got more jars of spice with the expanded fireball.
Yeah, because she was like, but I could choose not to. Like, would you have chosen if you didn't know about the spice?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, Cricket got engulfed in the billowing cloud.
Yeah.
Sucked.
And it also created obscurity, which made it really easy for the gremlins to hide, which was also super annoying.
Fortunately, we were not complete incompetence. We were somewhat on the ball.
Okay.
Aurora blinded Mistress Pots.
Yeah, she did the thing where she was so radiant that it's blinding. And that turned out to be a major thing.
Yeah.
Because that's why Mistress Pots was useless, because her tongue attack missed every time because she was blind.
Yep. So yeah, I used my what was it, cincture of periaptness or whatever, the thing that lets me end a status effect that you can save out of, to get rid of the dazed, and I moved away from there. Mistress Pots was really obsessed with me though, because I had her pixie spice. Spice pixie.
Yeah, she kept complaining, that spice isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And she tried to do the tongue attack to get the pixie back.
Yeah.
But she just missed because she was blind by like one, I think.
Yeah, and I had some cover from the cupboards. At that point, we were just sort of like, maybe we can just get out of here. The door had locked behind us, so Cricket was going to have to do thievery to get through the door.
And the gremlins have an aura that makes all skill checks 5 less because they like huck stuff at you and they're annoying.
So we were sort of undecided for a round or two whether we should actually be fighting or should we be focusing on withdrawing. But we wound up fighting because screw these gremlins. Now, I'm trying to remember some of the sequence of events because I'm remembering specific events, but not necessarily what order they came in. I remember...
Hank did get thrown in the pot.
Yeah.
Into the pot, boil and bubble away. Into the pot, boil and bubble away.
Such a catchy tune. I think Cricket wound up in the pot again, didn't she, at some point?
I don't remember. I remember there was a lot of killing of gremlins.
Yeah, we killed a lot of gremlins. At one point, I seem to recall Serendipity, Bengal Sword, Moor, Copper Tower, Shepherd Soul, Strides of Tongue, Doomlayer got into a cupboard with a gremlin, and there was some fighting in the cupboards between a gnome and a gremlin. The crown key, it broke free.
Yeah.
From its bonds, because it wants to get on heads. And Serendipity, Bengal Sharmor, Topper Tower, Subsoul Blair, had used Tensor's binding or something like that, which isn't super designed for this, but so it kept trying to break free.
You could only do so on a 19 or 20. That was just how it worked out with the different compared rolls. It rolled in a 19 as she entered the room.
So it tried to get on her head, and it launched an attack on her head. And I think, was it Hank? I think it was Hank that had this ability. When an enemy attacks an ally, he's able to redirect the attack onto another enemy.
And you teleports them.
Yeah.
And then the enemy,
Yeah, so the thing was just about to get on her head, and blip, he pops it over onto a gremlin's head. And so this gremlin, it clamps onto his head. And we're like, score! We now have a gremlin key, and I've got a spare just in case.
And suddenly his smile fades into this look of despair, and he's like, no! And all the other gremlins are like, ha 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 ha.
Gremlins are horrible. Yeah, that was fun. And then Hank, once again, did an awesome thing. He scored a critical hit. Was it Hank? It was Hank, right? Scored a critical hit on Mistress Pots? Yeah.
Did a charge bull rush thing.
Right, yeah, I was going to try and knock her into the pot. She has acid and fire resistance, but it's not quite enough, so she will take damage from the pot. And we really wanted her to take damage from the pot because, it's appropriate.
Irony.
Yeah. And also that song demanded it. So he scores a critical hit on her, rolls an extreme critical, permanently blinds her.
Basically critical to the face.
Tore her eyes out. And then she
it was
fell
like
into the pot.
It was like a lightning whip thing too.
Oh yeah.
So he lightning whipped her because that was what she was trying to do with her tongue. explodes her eyes and pulls her into the pot, where she struggles briefly and then dies because she just happened to fall to zero. So her exploded eyes are just floating on the surface, and the gremlins see this and they're like,
Into the pot, boil and bubble away.
So at that point, we'd sort of like, oh, we basically won. There's only these horribly annoying little gremlins.
one more comes out of the pot, out of the pipes with more meat, and it's just like runs away.
Turns around and goes away. Like, nope, not joining this combat. So we massacre the remaining gremlins, except of course the one with the key, and the spare I've got in inventory. Then we free the pixie. I guess it was bound or something, because it didn't do anything during the combat. And I still don't know why, but Serendipity, Venable Shrine of More, Top of her Tower, Second Soul Shrine, Doomed to Lair. I guess she's as sick of pixies as I am.
The pixie said that he was something red shirt, the king of the pixies.
Yeah, we got another king of the pixies here.
And she said, oh, if you're the king of the pixies, then you'll give your life for the cause. You're going to put on the evil key hat thing. To which everyone was like, what? But she later explained that she was just testing him. She had no intention of doing that.
Yeah.
She was just seeing
If he really was the king. If he was willing to step up and sacrifice for his people and stuff. And he was like, nope, and zoom, flew away. There's always a convenient exit hole for pixies in rooms or something like that. We can never keep them around. I think everyone is not liking pixies anymore.
I don't know if anyone else is not liking pixies. I guess they don't trust that they're king of the pixies.
Yeah, maybe I'm projecting then. Croesus keeps giving little running commentaries from wherever omniscient viewpoint he is about how we're doing way worse than he did. It's like, wow. You know, guys, we went through the room where everyone fights each other for no reason, and we just didn't fight each other. And we were a lot faster. We got to all these pixies before they died. You're not even finding them. They're all dead already. And instead of, having the noble king sacrifice his life willingly for his cause, you just killed him and took the crown. Now that we're done that, it was the end of the session. There's only one door unaccounted for in the whole dungeon complex. It's that one unused door in the round room.
Yeah.
So, next session, presumably what will happen, we will go through the door, have to make a perception check to make sure we know which door we came through. Assuming we figure that out, it's the door to the left, go through that. There will be the room with the key, turn the key, hooray, wake up. Then punch Croesus. As soon as we get out of the crazy house.
Weren't you supposed to find out, why Croesus?
His question was, why me, right?
Yeah.
Does that have something to do with rescuing pixies?
I don't know. Cricket initially had some interest in helping Croesus, but she has lost that.
After seeing the inner workings of his dreams?
And just basically becoming sufficiently annoyed at what they've been put through by Croesus's craziness. She doesn't have to put up with that anymore. She's particularly annoyed because Cricket had always considered Croesus to be kind of her most kindred spirit amongst the party. I mean, as an oblin, Croesus has a purpose. He knows what his purpose is. Everyone else in the world doesn't. They are adrift. Right. She feels bad for them.
But he's so damn crazy.
Yep.
Just like Cricket.
And he renounced ownership of her and has done everything he can to try and break her. And yeah, she's just completely fed up with Croesus.
There's going to be some internecine conflict.
Well, unless the rest of the party tells Cricket not to.
Yeah, there probably will be briefly until they're like, Cricket. Okay.
Stop being such a jerk. Go make him a sandwich.
Very well.
I guess, it would just be impossible not to. You could have a domestic who hates their master, but as long as they don't act on it. I mean, for example, if someone came and killed your previous masters and claimed you, and you really liked them, you probably would hate them, but you'd still do the same.
Are the domestics physically prevented from disobeying order?
No.
Is it just conditioning?
You call it conditioning. It's upbringing. She chooses to believe what she was programmed to believe.
So in theory, it is possible that there could be some sort of slave rebellion.
They're known as feral domestics. That's when a domestic goes wrong. They're broken somehow. It has been known to happen.
Cricket went feral for a brief moment.
I wouldn't. She edged on it.
She was scared that she would be
and
considered feral.
as soon as she realized that, I was like, oh, geez, I just did something that a feral would do, she was freaked out. So, yeah, I don't think she did. See, the true mark of ferality is they don't care that they've turned feral. That's when you know you got a problem.
No true Scotsman.
Or is it more like insanity? Or you're actually insane and you don't know you're insane?
Yeah.
The worst thing to tell Cricket is that she's a person. It's great.
Well, it's not the worst thing, it's the dumbest thing. She's like, please, stop being dumb. You're embarrassing yourself.
What would happen if the owner ordered the servant to kill him?
Like,
Suicide
assisted suicide?
Yeah, suicide.
They would.
But then what would happen to the servant?
Not her fault, she was ordered to.
Right. She would
Maybe
just...
whoever salvaged
I mean,
them.
what would you do with, like, a gun?
Yeah. It's the same thing if you, like, have your domestic go and murder someone. You're the one who murdered that person. You use the domestic to do it.
So the domestic doesn't have like the Asimov's rules or something like that.
No, it's at least not the first rule. It's all about the obedience thing. I mean, there are some caveats and stuff. Like I figured early on, I realized that there had to be some kind of exception where if you owned a domestic and you told it some secrets, you could order it never to divulge those secrets. And then if a new owner gets that domestic, they can't countermand that order. Because otherwise, no one would ever let their domestics go on to new owners. So they just kill them or something.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't trust them to keep your secrets.
So it's sort of like previous standing orders still stand.
Not previous standing orders, it's specific types. I mean, you couldn't order a domestic to spend the rest of its life filling a bucket or something, and then you sell the domestic, and the next owner can't countermand that order.
Right.
Wait, what if you told the domestic not to accept any other owners after you?
Well, that's not allowed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you ordered the domestic to go back to the Empire of Flowers and cause problems? That would be permitted.
Oh yeah.
So it's not beholden to the Empire.
No.
Okay.
And actually, we had a situation come up when Cricket contacted tech support, got a sort of mid-level priest of the Temple of Freedom or whatever on the line, and he realized that he was communicating with an incredibly expensive domestic, because there aren't any others that are nearly epic. He said, "Oh, you're going to have to come in for servicing and stuff. I'm taking you away from your current, etc." And
especially because they hadn't registered her, so he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, and these you'll have to come back and I'll own you, basically."
So Cricket was like, I need to talk to your supervisor. And he was like, oh crap. Because as soon as I talked to the supervisor and told her that, the previous guy I talked to tried to illegitimately claim ownership of me, she was like, we'll have him executed immediately. Because they take this sort of thing very seriously. And the rest of the party was shocked and appalled. And I was all smug. I was like, see, you can trust them.
Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little
What?
something on your chin.
Something?
No, on the other side.
Oh. What? Oh, it's blood. Oh, that's yeah. That's Cricket blood. I bit her ear. Yeah, I should probably look at that. It's sort of bleeding a lot. I was angry. She was attacking me and being annoying, and she killed the gremlin, and I lost my temper a little bit.
Aurora.
She keeps saying she's not a person. It's really getting on my nerves. I mean,
Aurora.
yeah.
That's disgusting.
Okay, I'll go wash my face. Sorry.
It's all right. You
Sorry.
had every right.
Cricket, you're right behind me. I'm sorry. I bit your ear.
No. I apologize profusely for my behavior there. I entirely deserve that.
You did deserve it, but I'm still sorry.
All right, I have a plan. The best way to hit all of these gremlins that are hiding in the cupboards, and they're wooden cupboards. I'll get the cupboards too. And the Mistress Pots frog lady, I can fire. Fire is the best. My fire blast, I can do big. It's huge. I've been practicing. I can make it even bigger than normal.
So, in this dream, we're all Oblin. And as Oblin, we should be following the law. And the law says, don't leave a fellow comrade behind. Don't leave any man behind. We must hold the line. We must stick together. And we must fight the chaos as one. But that didn't happen. I was burning to death, and they left me. But we have to keep on going, and I mustn't retaliate in kind. I am an Oblin here, and we have to press on. We have to hold the line, and I cannot leave my friends behind either. So let's continue, and let's fight.
The fire blast might have been a bad idea. That could have gone better.
This is all wrong. It's not right at all. We didn't kill the king of the sprites. He gave his life for his people, and we didn't leave anyone behind in that nasty room. We just, it's like Corblin, you just don't do what chaos tries to make you do. We just said no. You just say no to this. You don't start to eat each other. You don't murder someone to go through the door. What's wrong with you people? You're supposed to be Oblin. We're supposed to do this right, even if it costs us. This is wrong.
Into the pot, boil and bubble away. Into the pot, boil and bubble away. Into the pot, boil and bubble away.
Boil and bubble and bubble and boil and
Into the pot.